good day. So the topic for today's review video is guiding principles in determining and formulating learning objectives. So is it important to be guided when you are formulating your objectives in a lesson plan? Yes, of course, because your lesson plan will be the curriculum that will guide you on what to teach, what to do, and what should be the outcome during the day's lesson. So there are 7 guiding principles that we as a teacher should follow when we are formulating the objectives. So first guiding principle is begin with the end in mind. So as you could see from the figure, the engineer had a specific visualization on what the plan should become. Alam niya na kung ano dapat yung kahinatnan ng plano. So, as a teacher, when we are formulating a lesson, we must first identify what should be the expected outcome. Kailangan alam na natin yung kahihinatnan ng lesson at the end. Because it will guide us on what path, on what direction we should took. Without it, without a clear visualization or clear objective that should be expected at the end of the lesson, magiging magulo yung lesson kasi walang direction kung ano ba yung dapat niyang kahinatnan. So that is the first guiding principle. So next principle is share lesson objective with students. So at the beginning pa lang ng class proceeding, we must share the objectives to our students so that they are aware on what to learn on that day, what are the coverage of the topics or the lessons for that day, what should they expect. Because if they have a clear knowledge on those objectives, mas magkakaroon sila ng idea if gagawa sila ng sarili nilang objective. And kung gumawa sila ng objective, sarili ng objective relative to the lesson's objective, then they will be self-motivated. They will be motivated to cooperate during the class proceeding. Third principle, lesson objectives must be in 2 or 3 domains, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Pero mas maganda sana kung CAP, meaning tatlo, yung nakuha tong tatlo na to as objective in every lesson. So, cognitive pertains to subject matter knowledge, affective pertains to values, and psychomotor pertains to skills. So, paano nga ba ito magmamanifest sa lesson? Commonly lang to Cognitive manifests during the discussion of the main topic. Meanwhile, affective will manifest doon sa valuing. And lastly, psychomotor could manifest during sa activity. So the objective should be holistic, meaning they are interconnected to each other. So the cognitive part, the affective, and the psychomotor part should be connected to each other because they should not be isolated, they should not stand alone. Kasi if these objectives are isolated from each other at wala silang connection, maguguluhan yung bata and walang mabubuong clear concept to them. For example, the topic is um, the topic is momentum. The cognitive part could be discussing all about momentum, the theory about momentum, the concept about momentum, the calculations, yan. Next, the affective part is how it can affect in the, how could be used in the traffic management system, for example. O kaya yung mga nagko-collision ng mga sasakyan, traffic accidents. Yan. And sa psychomotor, they could perform an experiment or they could calculate. So, psychomotor na yon. So, yon, they are connected to each other. Para at after that, may mabubuong isang buong konsepto about momentum. Next guiding principle, work on significant and relevant lesson objectives. Of course, we should work only on significant and relevant lessons. Dapat lahat lang ng tinuturo natin ay naka-based doon sa approved curriculum. Yung content niya ay talagang related and directly measures dun sa dapat nating ma-measure. So, wag tayo magtuturo ng kung ano-ano lang na based lang sa opinions natin, based lang sa experiences natin. It should not be. Everything should have a basis. Everything must be conceptualized properly. At everything na ituturo natin ay dapat magagamit nila sa real life situation. Next guiding principle, lesson objective must be aligned with the aims of education in the Philippine Constitution and other laws and on the vision mission statements of the educational institution which you are part. So, yung objectives natin ay dapat align sa kung ano yung vision and mission ng ating eskwelahan. Hindi tayo dapat gumawa ng sarili nating vision at mission at kung ano-ano lang yung ituturo natin sa mga estudyante. So, let's take DepEd mission as an example. So, this is the DepEd mission to protect and promote the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete basic education. Okay. Where students learn in a child-friendly, gender-sensitive, safe, and motivating environment. And teachers facilitate learning and constant nurture every learner. So, dito pa lang sa mission, makikita na natin kung ano dapat yung mga ituro natin sa estudyante. First, dapat hindi bias ang ating teaching. Pangalawa, dapat may kalidad yung pagtuturo. Maayos at klaro. Diba? Naka-align doon sa curriculum. Next, dapat culture-based. Dapat magagamit nila in real-life situation. Dapat nakikita nila sa kanilang community as much as possible. Next, it should be child-friendly. Hindi dapat to nakasisira sa kanilang pagkatao. Hindi to dapat pinipilit na buksan ang kanilang kaisipan towards sa mga hindi dapat nilang matutunan at that age. Okay. It should be gender sensitive, no discrimination, It should be safe and motivating. So, dun pa lang, makikita na natin kung what should we teach to our students. And lastly, dapat natututo sila araw-araw. Natututo sila in every time na papasok sila. That is the role of the teacher. So next guiding principle is aim the development of critical and creative thinking development. So in our every objective, dapat establish yung critical at creative thinking ng mga estudyante. So let's first define critical thinking and creative thinking para mas maunawaan natin kung ano ba yung purpose ng principle na to. So what is critical thinking? Sabi dito that critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. So, in every activities na gagawin ng estudyante, na-establish yung critical thinking. Why? First, before they answer the activity, they are conceptualizing on what should they answer. They are applying on what they have learned during the discussion. They are analyzing the problem. They are analyzing on what they have learned. They are synthesizing, meaning may mapuproduce sila out of those learning. And ina-evaluate nila yung na-produce nila, ina-evaluate nila yung information na nakuha nila at yung na-synthesize nilang product, kung tama ba yun, mali ba yun, sapat na ba yun as an answer to their activity. So yun. So doing an activity is developing or establishing critical thinking among the students. So during the activity as well, kung science, math, or English, aralin palipunan, or sa lahat ng subject, possible na nag-observe sila, or nagre-reflect sila, or nagre-reason with sila, or nakikipag-communicate sila with others as response in that activity. Kaya napaka-importante ng activity, especially OBE activity, para ma-establish ang critical thinking. So next is creative thinking. It involves students learning to generate and apply new ideas in specific contexts, seeing existing situations in a new way, and identifying alternative explanations. So, creative thinking are also established during the activity. So, why and how? Basta nanggaling sa bata or sa students yung idea, it is a form of creative thinking. Basta hindi plagiarized, hindi copy-pasted, kung ano man yung mapuproduce nila, it is a product of creative thinking. Because they are transforming the ideas from the discussion into new form based from their own. So next guiding principle is aim the development of critical and creative thinking development. So in our every objective, dapat establish yung critical at creative thinking ng mga estudyante. So let's first define critical thinking and creative thinking para mas maunawaan natin kung ano ba yung purpose ng principle na to. So as a teacher, we should aim to establish critical and creative thinking always in every lesson. So, critical thinking and creative thinking are interconnected to each other. Hindi mo sila mapaghihiwalay talaga yan. Parang science and art, for example. Dapat interconnected sila to each other. Kasi hindi mo mabivisualize ang numbers without art. And art without science are not logical. So, hindi ko naman sinasabi that they could stand alone but they are interconnected talaga to each other. So, parang ganito sa critical and creative thinking, di ba? Last guiding principle in formulating a learning objective. So, it should be smarter. So, meaning, the objective should be specific, di ba? It should be measurable. It should be action-oriented, realistic, time-bounded, evaluated, and reviewed. Kaya laging tatandaan that all of the objectives should be smarter. So, I hope you have understand the importance of these guidelines when creating or formulating a lesson objective. So, note lang, lahat ng contents ng video na to are not mine, specifically the graphics, and I credit it all to the owners. So, if you are interested, please share, like, and subscribe my YouTube channel and follow my Facebook page, Marshall D. Teacher, for more updates and sana makapasa tayong lahat.